Sir Quentin Saxby Blake, CBE, FCSD, FRSL, RDI is an English cartoonist, illustrator and children's writer. He may be known best for illustrating books written by Roald Dahl. For his lasting contribution as a children's illustrator he won the biennial, International Hans Christian Andersen Award in 2002, the highest recognition available to creators of children's books. From 1999 to 2001 he was the inaugural British Children's Laureate. Education: Blake was born in 1932 in Sidcup, Kent, and was evacuated to the West Country during the war. He went to Chislehurst and Sidcup Grammar School, where his English teacher, J. H. Walsh, influenced his ambition to become involved in literature. His first published drawing was for the satirical magazine Punch, at the age of 16. He read English literature at Downing College, Cambridge from 1953 to 1956, received his postgraduate teaching diploma from the University of London, and later studied at the Chelsea School of Art. He has since denied that studying at the University of Cambridge contributed to his artistic or creative talent. He gained another teaching diploma at the Institute of Education before working at the Royal College of Art for over 20 years. He was head of the illustration department from 1978 to 1986. Career: Blake illustrated The Wonderful Button by Evan Hunter, published by Abelard Schumann in 1961. Blake gained a reputation as a reliable and humorous illustrator of more than 300 children's books, including some written by Joan Aiken, Elizabeth Bowen, Roald Dahl, Nils Olof Franz. Copyright N. William Steig, and Dr. Seuss. The first Seuss book that Seuss did not illustrate himself, Great Day for Up. As of 2006, Blake is the author or illustrator of 323 books, of which he wrote 35 himself and Dahl wrote 18. He recently illustrated David Walliams's first and second books, The Boy in the Dress and Mr. Stink. He has also done fine illustrations for several Folio Society limited editions, for example Don Quixote, Candide, and in 2013, 50 Fables of La Fontaine. On July 2, 2014, he appeared on This Morning with Charlie and Lola creator Lauren Child and the Gruffalo illustrator Axel Scheffler. Other activities: in the 1970s Blake was an occasional presenter of the BBC children's storytelling programme Jack Canary, when he would illustrate the stories on a canvas as he was telling them. In 1993 he designed the 5 British Christmas issue postage stamps featuring episodes from A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens. Quentin Blake is patron of the Blake Society, Downing College's Arts and Humanities Society. He is also a patron of the Big Draw, which aims to get people drawing throughout the United Kingdom, and of the Nightingale Project, a charity that puts art into hospitals. Since 2006 he has produced work for several hospitals and mental health centres in the London area, a children's hospital in Paris, and a maternity hospital in Angers, France. These projects are detailed in Blake's 2012 book Quentin Blake, Beyond the Page, which describes how, in his 70s, his work has increasingly appeared outside the pages of books, in public places such as hospitals, theatre foyers, galleries and museums. In 2007 he designed a huge mural on fabric, suspended over and thus disguising a ramshackle building immediately opposite an entrance to St Pancras railway station. The rendering of an imaginary welcoming committee greets passengers arriving on the Eurostar high-speed railway. Blake is also the designer of Ben, the logo of the shop chain, Ben's Cookies. Blake also designed several illustrations for the Storytime segments for the Scottish TV series Squeak. Quentin Blake is a supporter and ambassador for the Indigenous rights NGO, Survival International. In 2009, he said, "For me, survival is important for 2 reasons. One is that I think it unregistered trademark is right that we should give help and support to people who are threatened by the rapacious industrial society we have created. And the other that, more generally, it gives an important signal about how we all ought to be looking after the world. Its message is the most fundamental of any charity I'm connected with." Sir Quentin is a trustee of the House of Illustration, a centre in London for exhibitions, educational events and activities related to the art of illustration. He was also the subject of the first exhibition at this venue, entitled Inside Stories, which opened in July 2014. Selected works: these 35 books were both written and illustrated by Blake. Patrick, Jack and Nancy, Angelo, Snuff, Lester at the Seaside, Lester and the Unusual Pet, The Adventures of Lester, Mr. Magnolia, Euro winner of the Kate Greenaway Medal, Quentin Blake's nursery rhyme book, The Story of the Dancing Frog, Mrs. Armitage on Wheels, Quentin Blake's ABC, all join in a Euro winner of the Kurt Maschler Award for Integrated Text and Illustration, Cockatoos, Simpkin, The Quentin Blake Book of Nonsense Verse, Clown, a Euro commended runner-up for the Greenaway Medal, La Vie de la Page, Mrs. Armitage and the Big Wave, Dick Skrinowis, The Green Ship, Zagazoo, Zap. The Quentin Blake Guide to Electrical Safety, Fantastic Daisy Artichoke, The Laureate's Party Union Bateau dans le Ciel, Words and Pictures, Tell Me a Picture, Lovekins, Laureate's Progress, Mrs. Armitage, Queen of the Road, A Sailing Boat in the Sky, Angel Pavement, You're Only Young Twice, Daddy Lost His Head, Quentin Blake, Beyond the Page, as illustrator, The Wonderful Button by Evan Hunter, The Uncle Books by J.P. Martin, Uncle, Uncle Cleans Up, Uncle and His Detective, Uncle and the Treacle Trouble, Uncle and Claudius the Camel, Uncle and the Battle for Badgertown, collected as The Complete Uncle, Matador. Pigeon of Paris by Natalie Savage Carlson, Scholastic, 1974, The Wild Washerwomen, A New Folk Tale, by John Yeoman, a Euro highly commended runner-up for the Greenaway Medal, Sad Book, by Michael Rosen. Blake has illustrated a score of books by Roald Dahl. He also illustrated the British edition of Agaton Sax, a Swedish-language series of comedy detective novels by Nils Olof Franza, copyright N. Agaton Sax and the Diamond Thieves, 1965, Agaton Sax and the Scotland Yard Mystery, 1969, Agaton Sax and the Max Brothers, 1970, Agaton Sax and the Criminal Doubles, 1971, Agaton Sax and the Colossus of Rhodes, 1972, Agaton Sax and the London Computer Plot, 1973, Agaton Sax and the League of Silent Exploders, 1974, Agaton Sax and the Haunted House, 1975, Agaton Sax and the Big Rig, 1976, Agaton Sax and Lispington's Grandfather Clock, 1978, Other, The Learning Journey, a Euro. National Curriculum, Key Stages 1 and 2, Illustrated Editions for Parents, Honours and Awards. Blake was the inaugural British Children's Laureate and he received the biennial Hans Christian Andersen Award from the International Board on Books for Young People for his career contribution to children's literature in 1987. He was appointed Commander of the Order of the British Empire in the 2005 New Year Honours for his services to children's literature. In France he was made a Knight of the Ordre des Arts et des Lettres in 2002 and elevated to officer in 2007. For Mr. Magnolia, which he also wrote, Blake won the 1980 Kate Greenaway Medal from the Library Association, recognising the year's best children's book illustration by a British subject. For the 50th anniversary of the medal, a panel of experts named it one of the top 10 winning works, which composed the ballot for a public election of the nation's favourite. He was also a highly commended Greenaway runner-up for The Wild Washerwomen, A New Folk Tale, by John Yeoman, and a commended runner-up for Clown, which he wrote himself. He made the Greenaway shortlist for Zagazoo, which he wrote, and for Sad Book by Michael Rosen. He won the Kurt Maschler Award, or the Emile, for All Join In, which he wrote and illustrated. The award from Maschler Publications and Book Trust annually recognised one British work of imagination for children, in which text and illustration are integrated so that each enhances and balances the other. Blake was awarded the Prince Philip Designers Prize in 2011. He received the Eleanor Fudgian Award in November 2012. The annual award administered by Children's Book Circle recognises outstanding commitment and contribution to the world of British children's books. Blake was knighted in the 2013 New Year Honours for his services to illustration. In March 2014 he was awarded the insignia of Chevalier of the Légion d'honneur at a ceremony at the Institut Français in London. See also, Notes. References. D. Martin, Quentin Blake, in Douglas Martin, The Telling Line, Essays on 15 Contemporary Book Illustrators, ppA 243 Euro 263, Quentin Blake, Research from an Illustrator's Point of View, in Research and Illustration, Conference Proceedings Part 2, ppA 25 Euro 61, External links, Official website. Bibliography archived January 16, 2012 at the Wayback Machine, Quentin Blake at the Internet Speculative Fiction Database, Quentin Blake at British Council, Literature, Quentin Blake, Biography at the British Cartoon Archive, University of Kent, Quentin Blake at Andersen Press, Searchable Archive, Interviews and Articles, A Freehand, Stuart Jeffers with Quentin Blake, The Guardian, September 27, 2007, Quentin Blake tells his life story at Web of Stories, Quentin Blake, winner, Hans Christian Andersen Award, 2002, the Hans Christian Andersen Collection at Northwestern, Quentin Blake visits Sidcup Library at the Wayback Machine, on 2007 Dialogue with Children, Quentin Blake at the Wayback Machine at Random House Children's Books, What is Illustration? On YouTube, extract from a presentation given by Quentin Blake to a teacher's workshop run by the House of Illustration and DCSF in July 2008, Quentin Blake at 80, The Illustrator's Magical Art, Jenny Uglow, The Guardian, December 14, 2012.